for Krissy, who is, as she said, speaking small changes. So Krissy Ballinger's written several cookbooks. Sorry, Krissy. Well, they are cookbooks in a way.
They are.
So instead of cooking food, Krissy cooks up cleaning products, cosmetics. So, and essentially her life's work is teaching people that it's very easy to make your own home products and also to be very aware of what's in them. So with that very ordinary representation, I think I might just hand to you from here, Krissy. Thank you.
Oh, how awesome is it to be here and have a platform like this to get my message out there. I'm so grateful to you, Jennifer, and ekko.world for giving me this opportunity. Can you just want to clarify that you guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes, awesome, great. So I am Krissy Ballinger and I'm the founder of The Inspired Little Pot and the author of a couple of, and I'm happy to call them cookbooks because my whole mission is to get people treating skincare and cleaning as they would food, knowing exactly what's going into your pots and your packets and your bottles and things like that. So I've been doing this for over 5 years. It feels like I started yesterday, but at the same time, it feels like I've been doing this for my entire life. I did start out as a health and phys ed teacher and majored in health promotion at uni, so I've always been passionate about health. And, you know, as the journey does for a lot of people, it starts with food and nutrition and worried about what goes in our bodies because it's just something we're so exposed to on a daily basis from a young age, you know, eating the right foods and making sure we eat all of our greens. But it didn't take long for me to realise that there was so much more to it than just that. So at the end of the day, it is my mission to inspire you to start becoming aware of the various chemicals that are in our environment and figuring out ways to simply reduce that exposure. And, you know, in turn, you really just feel great because you know you're doing good for yourself and your family and the planet and future generations. So helping you to make conscious and educated decisions and to honour humans and habitat is really the end game for me. And I'm hoping by the end of this, you'll feel so super inspired to give a few things a go. And if you are brand new to it, the smallest little swaps are so easy and they make such a huge impact. So yes, I aim to educate you. Now I continue to educate through my website, through my recipe books, which I'm just going to show you. My book, Naturally Inspired Now. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this at the end once I've given you plenty of reasons why you need to pick it up and read through it and start attempting some of these recipes. There are 125 recipes and tips in here for everyday living, and it's really your DIY handbook. There's nothing else you would really need. And once you get something that I really like to sort of put out there is that I aim to give you the foundations for natural DIY. So getting an idea of where to start and what ingredients to use and how simple it can be. And something that truly makes my heart sing is when people will take a basic balm of mine and they'll jump on one of my socials and they say, oh, I used the base recipe for this and then I tweaked it and I added this and I put this in it and I chilled it for longer, I whipped it for longer, or whatever, and they've created something that's their own, because that is awesome. That's what we do with cooking. You know, we take a basic pasta sauce recipe and then we go, oh, that was really great, but I'd like it with some more garlic, so they add a little bit more garlic in there, and that's something you can do with these foundations. So allow me to lay those foundations for you and get you confident, and then you just take that info and run with it and create something that's amazing and that's yours, because I do think that you're more likely to continue on in this journey by making it your own and you know, not just counting on someone else, but I'm happy to be there for that as well. Now, when it comes to my journey, as I mentioned, I did start, you know, in the health area, and I loved teaching. It really made me happy. And then I had my own kids and realised I had nothing in my tank for other people's children. So I had to focus on my kids and couldn't go back to teaching. So, you know, what else was I going to do? I have so much creative energy, and it kind of just evolved into being the business that it is today, and, you know, the platform and books that it is today. But basically it started with genuine curiosity. I literally woke up one day to what was inside bottles and packets. It was almost as though I was blindfolded and using products that I was led to believe were safe, and I just took that and ran with it because, you know, why wouldn't I? I just figured if things were sold in the shops, that they were fine to use. If my mum used them, they were fine to use. And so I just woke up and went, hang on a minute, what is even in this? I don't have like an earth, you know, shattering, newsworthy story as to how I woke up or what particular product did it. But I just opened my eyes and I looked at these packets and went, what even is that? You know, and a lot of the time there were things within the packets that were, and bottles, ingredients that were completely benign. You know, on the back of a packet, it'll give you information on ingredients. So it may give you, sometimes in brackets it'll say, you know, shea butter or olive oil. Then it'll give you the INCINA, which sounds really long and complicated. So not just because something has long ingredients doesn't mean it's bad. And I found that out by researching and Googling and finding different apps and platforms to get this information. And once I realised the majority of what was in the packet was actually not so great, or there was some information out there saying that it wasn't so great, I was like, okay, let me look a little bit more into this. And it kind of led to the point where I went, well, that washing powder actually isn't great for me, and it's not great for the planet. It's not great for my clothes. Certainly not great for us to be wearing and me to be putting on my kids. So what can I do about that? And even 5 years ago, and I'm sure many of you will agree, it was really hard to find and access truly natural stuff. So, or if you could, it was expensive. But I mean, supermarkets have even come a long way now, and they are stripping stuff a little bit better. But even 5, 6 years ago, that wasn't possible. So I was like, well, what do? I'll just try and make it. How hard can it be? And so I did. It started with washing powder, and I thought, you know, if I throw in some soap and some bicarb and some salt, and surely that'll work. And what do you know, it did. So that's how it started, and then I started sharing it with people, and it led to be what it is today. Now, I know that there was some of you watching this who are like really into DIY already, and they think, you know, and perhaps have been doing it much longer than I am, and that's awesome. But I also know there's a lot of people out there who are brand new to this. And I have people in my life, my day-to-day life, good friends, family of mine, who have the sort of the more of the knowledge because they know me and I can't help myself. But they have these barriers and these blocks and these reasons why they don't want to take the next step. Well, they're not ready, or they're not entirely convinced that we're the only ones who have our own best interests at heart. So I'm really here to give you some information on why DIY really is one of the only ways that you can be in full control of what goes into that packet or that bottle. Just like cooking, if you're in the kitchen and you're making something for dinner, the only way for you to know exactly what's in that pot is if you put it in there. So that's exactly how I feel about DIY. I think that more of us need to wake up, like I did all those years ago. More of us need to start asking questions, become curious, because if you continue to buy, or you continue to, you know, just sit back and think, oh, well, it'll change eventually, or someone else will change the rules, or maybe I'll just continue to trust them. If you don't ask questions, if you're not vocal, then it's a much slower process for us to get to a point where there's more accountability for companies to take ownership over what they're putting in these bottles, to have some more respect for us as humans and also the planet. And that's up to us. So we need to ask those questions and really get the message out there. Getting educated is a great place to start. So get some information, get it from me, get it from whoever, but get some information so that you've got more reason as to why you're going down this path. Now, it could just be because it's fun and because you have kids. I have an 8 and a 10-year-old and they love getting in the kitchen. I'm currently writing a kids book and is the best thing that's ever happened to them. They think I'm this mad scientist all of a sudden. I think I've been making my own stuff for years and now they're like, oh my gosh, Mum, you're so cool, you should like write a book. Okay, so you know, it could just be that it's a fun thing for you to do and, you know, to get the kids involved in or to share with neighbours and friends and colleagues and things like that, you know, teachers' gifts. But it's also, I think, really important to, you know, get a bit of a fire in your belly and just have a think about cases from history and things that we now know are not good for us, but once upon a time it was put out there and it was circulated, and often it's very hard to backtrack and get that stuff off the shelves and out of buildings. So, you know, I'm thinking about things like DDT and asbestos and BPA. Now, even that is an issue in itself, because what tends to happen is there's these big you know, the media will come out and say parabens are bad, and so people start listening, and then companies go, oh gosh, our profit's going down, people aren't liking the parabens, let's take them out. But then often they replace them with something else, which if it doesn't have enough data, so we don't know if it's particularly good for us, or there is data on it, but it's not a paraben. So that's just one example. So it makes its way into the bottle to preserve that product, and I can talk a little bit more about preservatives later. But just think about history, think about those things that are now no longer allowed to be used. And one pretty recent example would be the formaldehyde hair straightening treatments that were out and all the rage about, I'm going to say 7, 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, and salon workers were back to back on these hair straightening, you know, treatments that people were getting, and the fumes were coming off. They coat their hair in this product, it contains formaldehyde, and then they straighten it, and then those fumes would go into that salon worker's face all day. And then they came full circle and went, actually, or did flip more so, and went, we shouldn't have this. This is not great for people, it's not great for workers, whatever. So you can no longer get that treatment anymore. So this is just one little example of something that's out there that they now have done a bit of a backflip on, that it gives me cause for concern. I think, okay, so if there's all this stuff circulating and there are so many chemicals that are out there circulating and new ones that have been introduced every day, they're out there. So it's so hard to stay on top of it. Like, you look at the list of chemicals that are currently allowed to be used in buildings and cleaning and cosmetics and personal care industry, it's massive. You can't stay on top of all of that. Something else to also keep in mind is that they're not testing. They might test a particular finished product on the skin to make sure it's not irritating, but they're not necessarily testing every single chemical ingredient that's going into that bottle, and that is something that you need to be aware of. Aware that testing on animals is not something that's done anymore, which is fabulous in terms of personal care and the rest. But we are now guinea pigs as humans and as a population. So people are becoming the test, you know, the crash test dummies, and at what cost? And it's something I'm so passionate about, because I want my children to grow up being able to have their own kids and then to watch them have babies. And I'm concerned that when you look at the trends, something is shifting, and there's so much that could be blamed on, yes. However, I'm passionate about the fact that these chemicals are not serving our bodies, and I'm going to prove to you that you don't actually need them. So stay with me. Chemicals, something else you need to know is that chemicals that are added, chemical ingredients that are added to a bottle, are all that needs to be listed on skincare and body care and personal care products. So if you have a packet of, or a jar of face lotion, and it has, let's just say 4 ingredients, which is, unless you're home making it, I've not seen one with only 4 ingredients, let's just say 4. So you have A, B, C, and D, and then they tell you what's in there because they're legally obliged to tell you what is inside. If it's over 1%, I believe. So anything under 1%, they don't need to tell you, but they tell you the main ingredients. What they're not telling you is how ingredient A might be interacting with ingredient D once it's together inside that bottle. We're often told that there are safe limits and that companies, and I'm that person who asks questions all of the time. I'm always emailing companies and going, could you just explain to me about this ingredient? Or I heard that you don't use parabens, but I found this product and it has still got parabens, or, you know, could have just been on packaging, old stock, whatever. So I'm that person who's asking questions. And what I'm finding out is that those safe limits that people are saying it's okay, so companies will write back to me and say that it's fine because we are using this particular product within the safe limit. Like, that's awesome. However, how do you know what my safe limit is? So I'm an almost 6 foot white female in her late 30s. How is a safe limit broadly determined? You know, who is that safe limit for? Because you might apply that same product to your 10-year-old girl or your 60-year-old father. There's so many grey areas with safe limits. Also, how do they know that you're not applying more of that product? I mean, they could say that they're telling you should only apply a teaspoon a day, but what if you apply that product 4 times a day? What if you are applying that product on top of another product, on top of something else, that you've now created this whole layering system of different products on your skin that do have the potential to interact with each other? So it's important to keep that in mind. Safe limits, that I feel like is a little bit of a cop-out. So yeah, keep that in mind. Something else to bear in mind is that a lot of the time we get greenwashed as a society. We get greenwashed. So what that refers to is packets and bottles and companies who are using words we want to see. There's very clever marketing. So they might write, and you'll see it. You just, after this, go for a walk down the cleaning aisle at the supermarket and look at how many products will tell you that they're earth friendly and that they're eco friendly, or they're organic is used a lot on bottles that don't in fact have anything organic in them. Natural is another one. Seeing natural and seeing these earthy tones and green leaves and things that kind of make us go, oh, this is a better option. Like, this has to be better. I would challenge you to research those a little bit further, because greenwashing is a thing. And you'll see it on skincare, because cleaning products, I'll get to in a second, but on skincare products, it will tell you that this particular ingredient was derived from coconut. So cocamide propylbutane is one example, and it was derived from coconut. I would like to see the process of the coconut and the final ingredient and what happens in order for them to get this, because often what they do is they use other highly toxic ingredients in the manufacturing process, and sometimes that gets left behind, but they don't need to tell you that because it is a byproduct of the main ingredient that they've added. So they haven't intentionally added it, so they're not needing to tell you. And now with cleaning products, it is very hard to find. Now I'm talking mainstream. There are amazing companies out there doing the right thing, being completely transparent with what they're putting inside their bottles. But there are also many mainstream, commercial products on the shelves at, where everyone's shopping at these supermarkets that don't need to tell you. Cleaning companies just don't need to tell you what is inside their packets. And I have asked the questions of these companies, and I'm simply told, I'm sorry, but that is private information. We're not obliged to share it with you. You can ask for the safety data sheets, and they must send you those. But your average person doesn't really check that. So I do actually have a petition at the moment on change.org, which has currently about 3,500 signatures, and I'd love to get more, just to maybe make a little bit of noise and get someone to listen and to get those laws changed. Because the way that I see it when it comes to cleaning products is that if you're using a window spray to clean your windows, that mist that comes out of that bottle essentially becomes a skincare product because it doesn't stay on the window. It lands on your skin, it lands on surfaces. If you have small children that are crawling, they're crawling on that, or they're walking and then they're taking off their shoes, they're touching it. We're exposed to it, we deserve to know what's in it. So that law really needs to change. Now, when it comes to chemicals to watch, so a question I get asked a lot is like, what do I avoid? And a really short, easy answer is just everything. Just make it yourself, because you'll see how easy that is. But I understand that DIY is not for everyone, and particularly those who've never tried it, because it feels overwhelming. How on earth are you going to make 30 different products to replace everything that's currently in your cupboards? But the reality is that one balm can do the job of about 6 of what you've currently got, and you know, simple ingredients, which I will go through, can replace basically everything. So you could probably get away with 5 different things and have a house sorted and covered. But those of you who are continuing to shop and you feel like, oh, but I still want to shop, or I really have this product I like, I really want to watch chemicals, I'll give you some of the really basic, obvious ones that you may have even heard of that you may be willing to put on a radar list for yourself, or jot these down, or head to my website and I've got the lists there and you can write them down. And watch out for those. So when you are shopping, if you see any of the chemicals that I mentioned and if they're on your watch list, put that product down. Before I get to the list of chemicals, I feel like I need to tell you, it's like I'm dumping 5 years of information into an hour, but just go with it. You, when you read labels, you need to understand that they list the ingredients in the greatest concentration at the top, and then it kind of works its way down. So if I tell you to watch an ingredient like, I've spoken about parabens already, which are a preservative and not so fondly known as gender benders, so they're affecting us hormonally, then if you see a paraben and you love this product, it's your favourite product ever, and there's 16 ingredients in this product, and the last ingredient is a paraben, you might choose to let that slide because it's obviously in there in a very small quantity. Up to you. I would put that down. That's got my absolute no-go, but it might be okay with you. So that just gives you an idea of how, you know, to be realistic about things and take that 80-20 approach where 80% of what you do is the right thing for you, not me, not your neighbour, but for you. And then the 20% you let slide because stress is horrendous for our bodies, and it's certainly something that we don't need any more of at the moment. So number 1 chemical to watch, in my opinion, is fragrance. So it is everywhere. So if you're brand new to this, after this is finished, go and check your cupboards, pull everything out, put it on the table, take a photo because it's a great keepsake. Then flip them over and have a look to see where the fragrance is in those products. And I would bet 9 out of 10 of them would have some sort of fragrance listed. Now, fragrance is protected by a loophole. They don't need to tell you specifically what ingredients are inside a fragrance, but it can contain hundreds of them, and they are responsible for so much. So headaches, dizziness, like I know people who cannot go to work if someone's like, they will literally get a migraine from fragrance. It's irritating. There's so many reasons to avoid it. So look out for fragrance, and unless it comes from natural sources and it specifically says that it's coming from natural sources, then I would be putting that product down. Another one is triclosan, which was first registered as a pesticide in 1960, and you'll find that in a lot of antibacterial products, which currently flying off the shelves. It's proven now that it's soap and water is all you need, really. So just watch out. Companies are taking triclosan out. There was a big thing, I think 2017, where the big 4 supermarkets were like, well, we're going to take triclosan out of our products. It's toxic to aquatics. You think about where these ingredients being washed down, if it's especially, you know, it's in hand wash and toothpaste, things like that, straight down the drain and, you know, into our waterways. So another problem with triclosan is that they're, aside from the antibiotic resistance that is linked to, it's also contamination concerns in how it was processed, and that some of that toxic stuff is being left behind. So It might not. If you had a company that was very transparent and could tell you that particular ingredients didn't have any byproducts left over, they were testing for that. That's a step in the right direction. At the end of the day, most of them won't know, even if they want to tell you. So, yeah, just with parabens as well, bear in mind that there's they have been proven to be excreted through your 8 to 12 hours after applying it to your skin. So there's the evidence is that if it lands on your skin, it will metabolize through your body, and the proof is there. Phenoxyethanol, so that's the replacement to parabens, in my opinion. The jury's still out on that. I feel like that's a huge wait and see ingredient where companies will tell you, so there's some research emerging, but companies will tell you that it's safe under 1%. But as I mentioned before, what are safe limits? No one knows. Like a lot of these products are being applied to children, and I know that because that used to be me. I didn't necessarily buy kids or baby targeted stuff. Like if I needed to moisturize something on my child, they would more often than not use mine. So who is the safe limit for? PEGs, PEG, you'll see that a lot. It'll say like PEG-120 or PEG-40, and they all mean something different. But basically, they're petroleum-derived ingredients, and they're produced with ethylene oxide, which is a highly toxic chemical. And then it's found that it often has traces of 1,4-dioxane, which is classed as potential human carcinogens. So you want to be watching those ingredients. The other thing to note, and you will see this on packets and bottles and tubes that you're using, is that something like PEGs help to bring ingredients into the skin, help them absorb, and these should never be applied on broken skin. So think about that for a minute. I couldn't pick, and I don't have the kind of job that I'm out there, digging up gardens or building or whatever, but at any given time, I would have broken skin on my hands, around my nails, on my face. It could have been a pimple that you picked or a scratch or whatever. So, your body as well, you shouldn't apply these to broken skin for a reason. And more often than not, people don't pay attention to that, and they will just do it. Even sometimes you'll put something and go, oh, that stings. It's your body's way of saying, ouch, like, protect me until I heal. My barrier is compromised. So it's a good one to keep in mind. And then the last ingredient of about 300 I'd love to tell you about, but everyone's going to narrow it down to 5 or 6, would be SLS and SLES, so sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium lauryl sulfate, and they're found in 90% of personal care items. So issue with those, again, is they're toxic to aquatics, and what do we do with things? SLS makes things sud up and bubble, and we've been conditioned by clever marketing and you can date this back to about the 1940s, 1950s, where we started being told that bubbles equal clean, and it's just carried on, and here we are using these products with these bubbles which aren't necessary. We don't have bubbles in our house at all anymore. I cannot create bubbles naturally. So here we are using things that don't bubble. Our dishwashing liquid doesn't bubble. Dishwashing tablets don't create any kind of suds. Our washing powder doesn't. And we have no issues with that. It just takes a little bit of adjusting. So with SLS and SLES, it's unnecessary. It's in products that get washed down the sink. They're toxic to aquatics, and there is contamination concerns with that ingredient, particularly sodium lauryl sulfate, even though it's gentler to the skin in that it's being processed with, it's got the F ingredient. Look for F, ETH in ingredients, because it often means it's been produced or manufactured with sodium, with ethylene oxide, and there's potential for it to have contamination with nasty byproducts. So hopefully that just gives you a little snapshot into ingredients. I really want to show you now, or just tell you that, as I've said, the best way for you to have control is to make it yourself, and for you to put everything in the bottle, and then you will know what's in the bottle and you'll know what you're using. Not only is it good for you, but it's showing respect for the planet, and this planet that we've been quite abusive towards in the last, let's just say 30 to 40 years in particular, we can do something about that. We can make this place a better place for our kids and our grandkids and so on. So it's also fun. It's so much fun making things for yourself and empowering, and you get a bit of a buzz out of making something and it works. I know this because it happens to me, but I have people communicate on my socials all the time saying that exact same thing. And we're also supporting those people that are trying to do it right, the people who are providing us with those ingredients that we can use, that are manufacturing them properly, that are extracting them properly. And it's that need for changing our attitudes from speed and convenience to and buy and replace. Think that purchases that you make, are you going to need that? Are you going to use that? Is that good for me? Does that serve me? Just asking more questions and becoming more curious. So I think I'm going to show you some stuff now. Just some really simple things that you can do at home, simple ingredients that you need in order to make your own cleaning and skincare products. So bring the camera over here for a minute and I'll show you basically what you see on this chopping board is everything you would need. I'm just moving my coffee out of the way. Everything you would need to start with your natural DIY journey. So this section here would be cleaning, and I'll bring Castile soap over for that. So here I have bicarb, very easy to access, and I do have lots of information on ingredients on where you can source them. We can talk about that in the question and answer time. Salt, good old salt. You'll notice my salt though has lumps in it, which are very easy to break up. That is because I don't buy salt that contains anti-caking agents. So even our salt has additives in it. Citric acid, this is not the citric acid you get in the cooking aisle, even though you can use that. This stuff is, I get it in bulk, and that's what you need to do because this is brilliant at hard water stains on your shower, in your toilet, on your sink, everywhere. Sodium percarbonate's like an oxygen bleach, so really great for washing whites in particular. Soap, now I have two types of soap. I have coconut soap here, but I also have a block of Castile laundry soap, which you can blend down to look like that. But this is what goes into my washing powder basically. And then washing soda, another brilliant ingredient in the natural world. Castile soap, I will use that to make a very simple cleaning paste. I would use Castile soap, some bicarb and salt mixed together, and it's so beautifully abrasive in a gentle way that it will polish up your teacups and clean your porcelain and clean your stainless steel sink and things like that. Okay, vinegar as well. Can't go without vinegar. It's like your must-have always at home, and so many bulk food places are now selling this stuff in bulk, so you can just take your jars and get them refilled. Now, when it comes to skincare, you can literally get away with shea butter. It's a very tacky butter. It smells absolutely beautiful. It's so good for our skin, full of good stuff. Beeswax, I buy beeswax pellets. I'm a very passionate beekeeper with super happy bees. Essential oils, as we can talk about them a little bit later. A carrier oil. So I tend to go to jojoba for most things, but you can use olive oil. So that right there is basically all that you need to DIY yourself at home, this particular board here. Invest in some digital scales as well, because they will help you. I create all of my recipes in grams so that there's consistency between cups and, solid things. Shea butter is hard to put in a cup, so it's easy to weigh in grams, and then coconut oil will sometimes be solid, sometimes be liquid. So to keep it simple, we just pop our bowl on our scales and we can weigh everything in as we need it in grams, and then we've always got a consistent outcome. Over here, I've got a few different products that I want to just talk to you about briefly, because it's so easy to make these things, and if I just show them to you, I know you'll go, oh, that's so easy, I'm going to give that a go. Firstly, washing powders. This is actually the stuff I've got at home that I'm using. So this washing powder has coconut soap, some bicarb, some salt, and washing soda in there. You can throw in some sodium percarbonate if you like. I use 1 tablespoon per load of washing powder in an average load and get clean clothes all of the time. If you want to soak clothes. So if you get oil stains on something, or kids have got their, you know, cricket shorts dirty, then a simple mix of washing soda and hydrogen peroxide, which you can buy at the supermarket, is just brilliant at bringing your whites back to white or getting oil stains out of things. Don't let your stains set. That's a key. If you spill something on your clothes, take it immediately and pop it in some cold water or tepid water, and that's the first step to keeping your clothes stain free. Fabric softener. You can just use vinegar for fabric softener, and your clothes, guess what, will smell like clothes. They don't need to smell like fields of jasmine or a spring day, because that is fake. And traditional softener sticks to your clothes. It coats the fibers, makes them sort of like heavier, and stops the static and all of that stuff. But it's horrendously bad for you and the planet. So that is probably the one thing I would say. The easiest thing for you to do is swap out your standard fabric softener for either plain old white vinegar, or I have a recipe where you dilute some salt into vinegar, and it works brilliantly as well. A simple cleaning spray is, I just use my favourite go-to that I tend to talk about every time I'm given an opportunity like this, because I feel like it's waste-free. It's a great use of common kitchen ingredients, would be a citrus cleaning spray. So all I've done here is, I don't know if you can get the golden colour of that. It's just beautiful. This has probably been sitting in here for about 3 or 4 weeks now, just because I forgot about it. But you only need about 2 weeks. So next time you're eating orange or a lemon or mandarin or grapefruit, whatever, any citrus fruits, keep your peels, pop them, try to remove the flesh if you can, pop them into a jar and top it with some white vinegar, and that decanted and strained makes the best cleaning spray ever. I'm going to say ever. So good. And lastly, with the cleaning, so 4 ingredients, 4 products really that you could use right now at home and make a massive difference to your exposure to common toxins, would be dishwasher tablets. So these dishwasher tablets, I would use 1 of these per load. These recipes are in my book, which I'll show you a little bit more of soon. 1 per load. You can drop a few drops of essential oils, like maybe lemon or eucalyptus or orange or something like that, as you put it into your little compartment and shut it, but they do the job. If you find your glasses in particular aren't washing that great, hand wash your glasses. It's such a small compromise to make for the greater good. And the further on you go in this journey, the more willing you'll be to make those little concessions and compromises, because you know the big picture, you know how powerful it is for you to do that small thing, to invest that little bit more effort for, you know, the greater good. Now, skincare and body care stuff. Next time you need to exfoliate, don't grab an exfoliating pack from the shops, because sometimes they even contain microplastics in those. So make your own face scrub. So this one has a few spices in it, but just brown sugar and olive oil mixed up will make a really nice scrub. Once you've wet your skin, that goes on beautifully, and it's quite soft and gentle. You can use a salt scrub. Salt and olive oil is really great for legs and arms and the rest of your body, but for your face, stick with the soft sugar. So scrubs, super easy. This moisturizing bar, again, really easy, is you basically melting a couple of ingredients, and the beeswax gives it this sort of solidity once it sets, and you can rub that all over your skin, and it melts on contact with your warm skin, and it's a beautiful way to moisturize and makes it the perfect gift because it's so stable, and you can wrap it, put it in a box, whatever. It's so great. Deodorant paste is something that some people struggle with, but we're coming into cooler weather. So if you're ever going to give natural deodorant a try, now is the time. And this particular batch, it looks a little bit brown because I've actually added bentonite clay to this to give it an extra boost. And this little jar here would probably last me, it's already half empty, but I'm going to say 4 or 5 months. You use the smallest amount each day on your armpits. And initially, if you need to wipe, dry, midday and reapply, do it until you're used to it. And I know so many people who use it and love it. And then bath drops. So this is something fun to do with the kids, is just to make some little bath bombs really. Citric acid, bicarb, and a little bit of oil is all that you need. I've coloured these with blue spirulina, and they're so gorgeous. So I just want to show you how one fizzes, because it's always fun to watch a bath bomb fizz, and a homemade bath bomb, just to prove that it works. But I'll just drop one into here. Imagine if it didn't fizz. So hopefully you get the fizzing action of that. But it's fun. Kids love this stuff in the bath. And it's completely natural and safe and fun and beneficial to your skin as well. So there's a few little things that I'm hoping will inspire you at home to get busy or start thinking, where can I get ingredients, because I really want to make this. And then before we go to questions, I wanted to show you a balm. So if I'm going to talk to you about the easiest thing that you can make for your skin at home to nourish and moisturize, I'm probably going to tell you just to grab a bottle of olive oil, because that makes the best cleanser for your skin, makeup remover. It's what I do every night. I cleanse my skin with olive oil, and then I use a hot face washer to take it off, and that's all I do. That's my nighttime routine, hand on heart. But if you want something a little bit fancier, or you want a body cream, or you want something to gift, and just giving a bottle of olive oil is not an option, what you can do is you can make a balm. So what I've got here is what I call my double boiler, and it's got just a Pyrex jug inside, and it has, can you see that water in there? It's got about a few inches of water. And so my balm's already melted, so I wouldn't have had time to go through it with you. But all I've done is I've added equal parts shea butter and carrier oil. That's it. That particular batch I'm about to show you has about 50 grams of each in it. I put them together on the stove and bring it to a simmer, wait till it melts. That's it. So then once it's melted, it's going to look like this. Just a golden oil. And then I'm going to pour that into a jar. And as it cools down, you can pop it in the fridge to force it to cool down, or you can just leave it on your bench. It's quite cool here in Perth today, so this is staying in water until I can deal with it. But I would pour that into this jar, leave it. As it sets, I whip it, and this is what you end up with. And it's so glossy and shiny and goes on beautifully. You can add any essential oils that you like. You can make it quite perfumey with some, rose geranium and lavender and maybe some patchouli, or you could, make it functional, maybe just add the lavender so it's more of a sleep balm, or you could have no essential oils at all if you don't use them, don't like them, or find them irritating. So that is a really, really easy balm to make, and everyone can do that. It takes no time at all, and one of my favorites. So it's called the 2-ingredient based balm. But basically, that is what it's all about. Shall I talk about my book now briefly? So I poured everything I had into creating this book, and it's just done amazingly well in the last 12 months. As I mentioned before, it has 125 different recipes for so many things. So maybe we have a little sneak peek here. Grapefruit. I've categorized it into sections. So there's face, body, hair, some dry powder shampoo, some eyebrow conditioning serum, some facial buff. Then we go to our whipped body cream, charcoal soap, deodorant paste, the practical stuff, hand sanitizing spray, sunscreen. And then we go into the cleaning section where, I have these recipes for cleaning paste, window spray, cleaning your floors, jewelry, liquid laundry detergent, stain treatment paste, cleaning your chopping board, toilet and shower cleaner, which, can I say, is the best toilet and shower cleaner you'll ever get, and you don't need to wear a gas mask to clean your shower. Weed spray, so there's a few, other recipes for outdoors as well, some fun stuff. So this book really, in my opinion, which is completely biased, but I've heard it multiple times, I believe it, is the only DIY book that you would need on your bench. Now, I haven't actually shared this information with pretty much anybody just yet, but we've got a new edition coming out, which should be available in stores by mid-year. and it looks like this. We're very excited. So slightly different, jazzed up. It's a little bit smaller in dimensions, but the contents is the same. If you were to buy my book today, you would be getting this version here with me on the cover. And then by mid-year, hopefully you'll be seeing this one in most major bookstores and retailers. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to reach more people and get more people just aware that there are possibilities and other things out there. So yes, that's probably me covered. I know I need to answer some questions now. So Jennifer, do you want to pipe in, or do you want me to just start answering questions?
Krissy, yeah, how about we go ahead and answer the questions that are there, because it looks like there's a few that relate to some of the things you were talking about.
Okay, cool.
Just read.
Okay, Carly can read those questions and I can do my best to answer them.
Okay, so do you see a time when all ingredients will be required to be disclosed on cleaning products?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm a huge believer in what you think will manifest. And I tell you what, on a daily basis, I think this is going to happen. It has to. I feel like we're moving in that direction. People are getting louder. It will help if people start making even more noise. So as I've said, sign my petition, because if they don't know people are interested, or we're not kicking up a stink, they're not going to do it. Companies want to make money. Some companies want to make money and look after us, and they're the ones we want to support. So until that happens, until we make that noise, yeah, it could take a little bit longer than we like, but the louder we are, the sooner we'll get that result.
Okay, this is a comment, not a question, but she just said, Simone whipped up a batch of sensitive deodorant balm this morning and sent it off to the kid's grandmother for Mother's Day.
That is awesome. I love that people are making homemade gifts. And if you're watching this, I know Mother's Day is only a couple of days away, but there's nothing stopping you from making something in your kitchen now to give to mum, even if you don't know where to source the ingredients, which I can help you with. But a simple body scrub, as I said, with just some brown sugar and olive oil in a beautiful jar with some instructions would make a perfect gift. And I think that, you know, mums, they just want to feel special on that day. They don't, I don't expect things. I just want the gift of time. And I feel like making your own stuff is the gift of time. So well done, Simone.
So this is a question. If you're setting up DIY cleaning stores, how much of each product should you buy?
Or like a storage for yourself. I would get the powdered ingredients in bulk. I have a list of suppliers on my website. Under the shop tab, it will say ingredients supplier information, and it will give you a suggestion of lots of different businesses that are making, that are selling ingredients that most of them I've been through, and I've given like okay, I would buy them, or they used to supply me when I had a warehouse and I was selling it. So buy your powdered ingredients in bulk, like the stuff that I've showed you, the washing soda, the citric acid, definitely, the bicarb. Benefit of buying it in bulk too is you're getting it in one package. You're not buying multiple little bags of bicarb soda. Also, you know, the bicarb you're getting from my suppliers that I've checked off don't contain additives as well, because bicarb sometimes contains aluminium. Things like shea butter, I would just be buying, depends how much skincare you're making, I would just be buying small tubs, maybe 500 grams just to start with, just to see how you go with it. And same with your carrier oil. Pick your favourite carrier oil. As I said, mine's jojoba, but start with olive oil. It's super cheap, super accessible. You've probably got it in your pantry right now, and that's a really good place to start. Beeswax lasts for a really long time as well, so you can get beeswax and you can get, you know, 500 grams will get you far, because a simple pot of deodorant, this would probably only have about 5 to 10 grams of beeswax in it. And so if you're going to buy, you know, even 250 grams, you would get through quite a lot of DIY.
Do you dilute the citrus cleaning spray before you spray it?
I don't. Everyone does something different. Some people do. I don't. I think that having that punch is good. And I'll tell you something. I'm more concerned about the surfaces of my airways and my skin and whatever than I am of the surfaces in my home. So I use that citrus cleaning spray. I have been using vinegar on my stone benches for years and have never had any issues. Same with flooring. But if you're concerned, if you've got some antique surface that you're really worried about, patch test it, or just use water and a cloth. It really it really does still do the job. So you need to proceed with caution based on what, you know, where your priorities lie when it comes to cleaning and surfaces and things like that. But no, I don't dilute mine.
Okay, another question. What are the bath bombs made of?
So there's citric acid, bicarbonate, carrier oil in there. That recipe is also online on my website, so you can jump on right now, and I'm sure we can link all this stuff in later as well. But they are super easy to make. And if you had to buy it from the supermarket, then you could get those ingredients if you're itching to have a go, but it will cost you about 3 times as much than being patient waiting for them in bulk. Other questions that we might have, well, typical questions that I get asked usually are things like, how long does DIY last? So when you have to bear in mind that the DIY recipes I'm giving you are designed to last a lot less time than the stuff you buy at the stores, purely because we are not using chemical preservatives. So an oil-based product like a body balm or a face cream or a sunscreen would typically last as long as the shortest expiry on your ingredients. So if all of your ingredients have an expiry of 12 months and one has an expiry of 3 months, then I would keep that balm for 3 months. Keeping in mind, you could preserve the integrity of your products by using spatula to take out the balm, not dirty fingers, by keeping it in the fridge if you're in a particularly warm climate, keeping it out of moisture, using clean, sterile ingredients to start with, water-based products. I keep mine for a lot longer than some people might think is acceptable, but we are bacteria. We are faced with bacteria every single day, and to make a simple foaming hand wash, which I didn't show you, but I talk about this stuff all the time, Castile soap and water in a pump bottle like this, and if you just follow me, Carly, and it just delivers this beautiful thick foam from 2 ingredients. That is something that I'll make up a batch and it'll sit on my bench for a couple of weeks and I have no issues with it. I mean, considering the fact we're surrounded by, you know, bacteria on our toothbrushes and door handles and money, and, you know, we're designed to fight the good fight. We need to give our bodies that chance. So water-based, you might only like to keep it for a couple of days and make very small batches, or you might be happy keeping them for a couple of weeks. That is up to you. There is a lot more info on my website on that, but in a nutshell, preserve the integrity from the get-go by using purified water and using clean, sterile implements and containers as well.
We've got another question. Do you wear or make a night cream, or do you use just olive oil at night time?
I will go to bed at night with just, if I've oil cleansed, sometimes I get a bit easy. Sometimes I even get lazy doing that. So I'll use just like a little, you know, like one of those reusable makeup pads, and just, I don't wear makeup typically, but just to kind of clean my face, and then I will apply a lotion, and I do have one that's it's a little bit heavier and it has shea butter and beeswax, and I think I've used rose hip and jojoba oil in it, and I've added some essential oils of frankincense and lavender, and it's beautiful on your skin. And I promise you, I'm not the first person to say this, I swear it makes you look younger. There's something about this balm that's awesome. So it's called night balm or night lotion on my website and in my book, and that would be what I go to if I haven't oil cleansed. But 6 out of 7 nights I will oil cleanse. Yeah. Another question is, so cleaning up after DIY. Not hard. A lot of people get overwhelmed by the idea of using something different that they haven't done, but it's a lot easier to clean up after this than it would be if you were making a toffee or, you know, caramel or something in the kitchen. Way easier. So just make sure that when you're cleaning up, really all you've got is this balm to clean, this bowl to clean. Once you've poured all of your balm out, use a silicone spatula to get out as much as possible and keep that, because it'll go a long way. Then use a cloth to clean it out, and then you can put it in the dishwasher. But whatever you do, don't go making sunscreen or something with zinc oxide that doesn't like water and then put that straight into your dishwasher, because it will cover your entire dishwasher in sunscreen coating and it will be a nightmare to clean. So if you just contain it, you can also, I should have mentioned before, is you can use Sometimes I use a thermal appliance if I'm making big batches and sharing it among friends, or we're making gifts. Or you can also, if you're into microwaves, you can also pop them into microwaves on short bursts on a low setting until your ingredients have melted. But cleaning up isn't very difficult. What else have we got?
So another question is about essential oils. Do you have to use the specific essential oils mentioned in the recipe, or can you leave them out entirely?
Yes, you can leave essential oils out entirely, and depending on what essential oils you use, that can serve a different purpose. Just be mindful that not all essential oils are going to be suitable for everybody, and they can be very irritating to your skin. So if you are dealing with someone who has irritated skin or eczema or dermatitis or whatever, you, in my opinion, would be better off leaving the essential oils out. And also just on ingredients, well, kids, especially with essential oils, you need to be careful. Not all essential oils can be used on children. So there's some good resources for that as well, which we can link in at the end of this. Just make sure if you're gifting DIY that you're including a complete list of ingredients. So the person you're giving it to, especially if you're not familiar with their history. So it could be your child's school teacher and you don't know what they're allergic to. So you want to make sure that they know fully what's in there so that they can stop using it or not use it or re-gift it or whatever if there's something in there that they might be allergic to.
And so what brand of essential oils do you use or recommend?
I use multiple brands of essential oils. I'm not affiliated with any one. I think they're incredible ways to boost the awesomeness of your DIY. It's what I use as perfume, but there are several brands that I have used and that I think are great. And I do have this information on my website if you want to check it out. Just if you're going, to look for an essential oil brand, make sure you're comfortable with them, the way that they get their oils, the way that they treat the people who get the oils, the whole shebang. So you find someone that meets your needs personally.
Okay, I've got another question. Do you make a face mask, and how often would you use it?
I do have a charcoal and turmeric face mask on my website and in my book, which you apply. It uses a bit of gelatin, so not great for vegans. I haven't been able to find a substitute, unfortunately, that's as effective, but you can apply it and then you can actually peel it off. Just be mindful that if you get it around your hairline, it hurts. If you're particularly hairy as well, it does hurt, so you might just want to wash it off. But probably the simplest face mask you could apply is just some bentonite, clay and water, and smooth it onto your face until it dries. It's kind of like a mud mask, and then just wash it off. Just don't do it 10 minutes before you're going to leave the house, because it's quite drawing and it's very powerful, and it can leave your skin a little bit red initially, which looks alarming, but just needs time to settle and cool down.
Okay, another question. Do you have any recommendations on how to help eczema?
Oh, I tell you what, eczema is something that I get asked about a lot, and my best advice when it comes to eczema is go and see a practitioner that deals with the body holistically. Not just someone who's going to prescribe steroids, or even though they may be good in the short term, I truly don't believe that they are in the long term. So find yourself a naturopath, find yourself someone who's willing to treat the body as a whole. Look into gut health and diet, especially. I did listen to a podcast recently where they spoke very highly of olive oil and honey being brilliant for eczema riddled skin. So yeah, I would say strip it back. If it's something you can do immediately before you do any of that is rather than add stuff to the person who has eczema, take stuff away. Take away the fragrance products, get rid of the irritating washing powder, the softener, the things at home that could be aggravating their skin further, and then start looking at the other steps.
Okay, one other question is, what if I don't have time to DIY?
Well, we talked a little bit about that if you don't have time to DIY, but check out the brilliant resources out there. Get onto ekko.world and search that platform, because it is amazing, and you'll find yourself wanting stuck into them when you wanted. There are so many people out there trying to do the right thing and giving you one-stop places to purchase things that they've done all the hard work for you. Just make sure you trust them, because if you trust them, you can trust what they stock. And then follow me on social media, because I'm often talking about various things that can further enhance ways to scent your home, that don't require plug-in air fresheners or you know, scented things you put into your vacuum and things like that. So hopefully that answered that.
We've just got one more question. Sorry, we've just got one more question.
It's fantastic, not a problem. Let's do one more. Now I better introduce Judy as well.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no worries.
Last question.
Yes, go.
So how do you use essential oils as a perfume?
Oh, I would just pop really quickly, just grab yourself a little roller bottle, which I don't have to show you on hand, and drop in your favourite essential oils. So it could be that your brand has mixed, like a blend that's already mixed, or you might pop something as simple as use some lavender and frankincense in there, and then fill your roller bottle up with like olive oil or a carrier oil of any description, and then just apply it to your skin exactly how you would regular perfume. I think Jennifer wants to introduce the next speaker now, yes?
Yes, and a couple more things for you. First of all, though, welcome, Judy. So we're having you two were on around food time for a very good reason, because Judy is from the Greengrocer's Diet and the Food Coach. So she's interested in very similar things, but more what you can eat. So hi, Judy.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Krissy.
One kitchen.
I'm interested in your skincare, actually.
Judy's in Avalon and Krissy's in. So we're going from one side of the country to the other. Krissy, just before we leave, there's a couple of things if I could clarify. I have heard you talk before about using what you have first.
Yes, definitely. So, well, it depends. If you are inspired by me and you want to start making it because you think this would be a great thing forward, but you haven't got issues with what you're currently using, you would be better off using that up than throwing it into landfill. Or I know I've often taken things to, there's shelters here in Perth that would willingly accept things that you're not going to use. So please just don't throw things into landfill. Consider that there's someone else who's not on this particular part of the journey that you're on, and they would be happy to use those products first. So I personally didn't. Once I knew I couldn't unknow it, so I couldn't finish things, and I actually gave them away. But Gumtree's brilliant for that. People snap up free stuff very quickly.
Yeah, very good point, isn't it? I mean, I think the conflict is you feel like you shouldn't be using them, but then you're giving them to someone. But if they want to use them, they're going to use them anyway. You might as well.
That's right. Yeah.
I think one other thing, two best places to start. So say inspired by this today, and it's also, it kind of leads in quite nicely to Judy, who's very interested in seasonal food and things like that, eating more simply. But if someone was starting on a DIY journey, what would be the easiest and most convincing product and cleaning, beauty, body or cleaning product that they should make and use first that, would encourage them to keep going?
For me, it was washing powder. I thought that was huge because you feel the impact straight away because your clothes don't have that sickly sweet smell. And once you give up fragrance, you'd be amazed at how potent. Like I was that girl who'd pick up softener packets and sniff them, and they all smelled the same, and they were so potent that I couldn't recognize that. And now can't even go near that section. I literally cannot walk down those aisles now. So washing powder is an awesome place to start. But if you want to do it right now, go with the citrus vinegar spray, because if you've got an orange in the house, most people have vinegar, you can start that like brewing instantly, and it's a very effective way to clean all surfaces. So you're going to knock out about four different products, and or the citric acid bicarb shower cleaner, toilet cleaner. It's brilliant. Like all you have to do is go to my discussion group on Facebook and type in shower, and you'll see the photos are crazy. Like the before and afters are just mental. So, and with skincare, that 2 ingredient based balm I showed you for a reason, because 2 ingredients takes you 5 minutes to melt it, whip it up once it's set, and that's an all over everything. And whatever's left on your hands, run it through your hair, and it gives it that beautiful kind of glossy shine, tames all the flyaways.
Amazing. Thank you. Judy, did you have something you wanted to ask Krissy before we wrap?
Probably plenty of things, but not I want the recipe for the shower cleaner, the toilet cleaner, the skincare. I want the recipe for all of those things. But no,
Yeah.
I just want to say, fabulous job, congratulations. It's a brilliant effort. And where do we get your book? On ekko.world, maybe?
Yeah, there's the links on ekko.world to it, or you can go to my website, which is theinspiredlittlepot.com.au, which you can also just search for Naturally Inspired on Google and or you know, any search engine, and it'll pop up with lots of different places where you can buy it.
Thank you. Well, it's great. I will be doing that for sure.
Great.
It's a bit like you, and not being able to walk down the aisles with the highly scented chemical cleaners. I can't eat any of the highly processed foods because the concentration is too much, it's too strong, too everything. It's just not worth doing. So you don't you
love how if you give your body the chance, it'll give you the right signals, so that your body's trying to tell you all the time that chemical cleaners and skincare is not great, chemical food's not great. You just need to give it a chance and listen to what it has to say.
Yeah, I think you need to use a classic Jennifer Nielsen line of suspend disbelief, just trust us and you'll find out for yourself in good time.
Absolutely.
That's it. Krissy, just fabulous. Thank you so much. We could stay here all day. What a big message coming from you and everyone today about grassroots change. So, I mean, so much of what you're talking about is what you do at home, but it is also about being a voice in the community, isn't it? And using your voice to get change.
Absolutely.
Just in closing then, what are the three main things that you'd like to leave everyone with?
Wake up.
Yeah.
I would say the fact you've registered for this amazing day is proof that you are awake or waking up. But wake up, make noise, and start making noise, because if we don't make it as a population, then no one's going to hear us, no one's going to listen. And start small, take little steps. This is a common theme, I think, among everyone, is that don't go straight into everything. Just do one thing a day, one thing a week, one thing a month. Be forgiving to yourself, and before you know it, all those little steps that we're all making is going to end up being this amazing, big, powerful, positive change. And you know, we'll be rocking it. You tell one person about this, and we're going to double our reach instantly. So yeah, that's
and you add to that, don't give up just because something doesn't work. Try something else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone's different. Thank you so much. We will transition now to Judy. If you would like to stay around, that would be fantastic. But thank you once again for so many tips, just as well. I've got a video.
Thank you so much.
And good luck with the new book. Can't wait to see it. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. Good luck, Judy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Krissy. It was fab.
Now, just moving to Judy.